Pleased to be joined by head coach South Plains College Texan Lady Texan Rodeo team, Coach Kerry Doster joins us. Coach, let's start out and talk just a little bit about rodeo as a whole. For those folks out there who don't follow the sport, rodeo kind of changes aspects as far as I'm concerned. Athletes train, we all know that. And you, I know, were a bulldogger in your rodeo career, so you guys train like everybody else, but life changes a little bit when you're trading a two-legged animal, and that's tough enough on us, but then you start trading four-legged animals that have to get involved in here to perform well, and the life of the rodeo sport really is different, I think, than any other sport you could find.
Well, I think a lot of things that make it so different, like you say, is the aspect we're bringing a lot of factors that we can't control being animals. You know, a lot of times, these horses are trained, stuff to perform, but I mean, you can't control. I mean, they're not machines. So, and there's also, the say in the calf roping, these guys, they've got their horses they've trained, and a lot of times you have a pretty good idea what that horse is supposed to perform for you. But then you've also got the livestock that you draw, that you compete on, that it's kind of a crapshoot a lot of times. One Joe, Mr. Tubb, he was at the Alpine Rodeo, and he said it the best thing. He's like, he was there watching the show, and he goes, "Man, these horses and these cows can really screw things up." I said, "Absolutely, and it's the truth, because a lot of times people come back and they'll say, 'Well, how'd you do, Coach?' I said, 'Well, we did all right. The kids didn't draw that well.'" And when I mean that means you didn't draw the best bucking horse. If you draw, we were at Ranger the other day, and our good bareback rider used to draw a horse just reared straight over backwards coming out of there, and kind of didn't start the ride out good. I mean, he did the best he could, but it's hard to perform and compete against guys that are drawing the better stock, and that's just part of rodeo. It's always been that way, and it always will be that way. But you're gonna. We just got our drawing this morning on as far as our position draw, and that has another factor into it. Like in the timed event stuff, the stock will be run through twice, and so some of our better hens drew up on the second run of these cows, so you at least kind of know what they're going to do. So hopefully we'll keep our fingers crossed, and this week at Odessa we'll at least have part of the draw and it's kind of going our way, at least when we draw it out.
So the draw is kind of an interesting thing, because rodeo cowboys and cowgirls know exactly the same thing. You scout no matter what sport you do, and guys know what horses perform well. The stock strings don't change much. Same thing with the bulls. And honestly, like you said, if you get steers on the second draw or roping steers on the second draw, you get a chance to look at that animal once, you've got a chance to make adjustments to your game plan, if you will.
Yeah, and so that's what I was looking at. Carly Richardson, she's up. She's one of our best breakaway ropers. She's up Saturday morning. Ben Ramey, he finally drew up on the second run on the cattle. He'll be up Saturday morning in the Bulldog. He's sitting second or standings right now. So the good rodeo there. I'd like for him to, ultimately I'd like for him to win the region, but I'd like for him at least wind up in the top three to be able to go to the College National Finals up there in Casper. But he drew up Saturday morning. Our team ropers drew up Saturday morning. Our good team ropers. So that's kind of going our way, and some of our Go Tigers did. Same thing in all the stock. You at least see them go once, and this arena here that we're going to in Odessa, it's kind of set up a little different. Sometimes the bulldogging box is set up over to the right side of the arena, so a lot of times the steers are going to run off to the left. But we'll at least be able to see some Ben's steer go once, and we can adjust if we need to kind of break straighter down that box, whatever we can. So
first year here, you through the fall side of things, obviously, into the first through the first rodeo of spring. How do you feel as a team overall, from what you've seen day one to where you're at now? How do you feel about this team? How do you feel about the progression of the team, and where do you feel like you're at?
Well, we're not where I want to be by any means. I came up here to win, and we've been doing a lot of recruiting, and I think that's going to help us a lot next year. We changed up. We've got bucking horses here. We're bucking horses here at the college. I brought in some really good bucking horses. That's going to help us out a lot. But as a team overall, I think the kids are really. We've got some really good kids, some good athletes, and hopefully they'll step up to play this at our last rodeo at Ranger. Some kids that hadn't done as well. One girl, she won the first round, then missed her second one. But these kids that hadn't really made a whole lot of short rounds really kind of starting to step up to the plate. So I think as overall, our kids, the overall talent is kind of moving up and to a different level, and hopefully that's going to help us all.
Talk about a guy named Ben Ramey. Boy, here's a kid that when he came out last year, he was pretty solid last year, but he just continues to impress. Boy, he had a great run over at Ranger in the Bulldog.
Yeah, he did. Ben, he bulldogged really well. Didn't really draw a really good steer in the short round, and just was really, a lot of kids would have missed the steer. He caught him. He almost slipped his inside horn, but made it work and wound up second overall. And if that kid can draw a couple of the better steers, the kid's just got a really good work ethic. He works out all the time, and spent the whole spring break bulldogging. Hopefully we can just kind of get him up to finals. He's bulldogging at a whole different level than he was last year. We changed up a lot of stuff. He made the college finals last year, and he had some horse issues up there, and I got there and we talked about it up there at Casper. I wasn't working for the college then, but I knew I was going to be real open-minded and always ready for change to whatever makes things better. I mean, he's there to win, and having kids like that around is just a blessing. I mean, they really make coaching easy.
You get ready to go for this co-hosting event with Odessa. There's a lot of work goes in these things.
Oh, yeah.
Folks that just show up and buy a ticket and sit in the bleachers, it's pretty easy for them.
Yeah.
When you start talking about lining up stock and lining up shoot help and lining up all these things, this is a lot of work for a coach and a staff to put one of these things on.
Yeah, and it is a lot of work. We've got a bad company, Mac Altizer's guys coming in, and my brother's a head coach there at Odessa, so him and we've been working back and forth for about the last 2-3 months getting this thing lined out, and he's got a harder deal on it than me as far as getting sponsorships and stuff. But lining out and having all your kids there to work, and there's a lot that goes on to it. Like I said, just getting stock sorted. But if you go in there with a good stock contractor, that sure helps out a lot. And I think we're gonna have a really good rodeo this year. We'll have some, good pros, quality bucking horses and bulls there, and it'll run off pretty good. So.
As you mentioned, boy, that solves a lot of things. You get good stock contractors, guys that know what they're doing. Not only is the stock quality, but the help they show up with can change a rodeo dramatically.
Makes a huge difference. So I think it'll be good, and we'll see. We'll keep, the weather's supposed to be good down there, so that'll help. I mean, we're in an indoor arena, but you know how the wind blows out in West Texas. It's covered, so I mean, but if that wind starts blowing, it can get miserable. I think we're gonna have really good weather, and hopefully have a really good rodeo.
All right, Coach. Just seems out of time for this one. Any final thoughts for us before we let you get down and get ready to go rodeoing here in a couple of days?
Everybody, we got a couple of kids got hurt. This week Ty Willick, one really good bulldogger. Let's say everybody kind of cross your fingers, hope his knee's not as bad as it was, and as it looks. So that's about all we got going on to try to get all our kids healthy and keep the ones we got healthy.
All right, Coach. Look forward to visiting with you next week. We'll talk about how things went for you down there at Odessa coming up next week. Until then, best of luck.